Every single time I do this, it's like the first time I ever do this. But basically, I haven't done a rent-free in a while, and I like the intro sound effect too much to ever stop doing them. So, what's today's rent-free? Well, I have to give some context first. I am on day 2-ish, aka final day of traveling. I was just on like a 10 to 12 hour flight, and before that flight, I had to be driven to the airport. So I was driven by my dear and cherished brother while I sat in the back seat like a preteen playing on my Nintendo DS. And like my preteen self, I was playing Kirby Superstar Ultra for the Nintendo DS. I don't know why I'm saying this like this. I've played a handful of Kirby games in my life, and they're almost always bangers. It's just good, clean fun. It's like hard to go wrong with playing a Kirby game, especially if you're looking for a co-op game, something you just dive into really quick, have a good campaign, have a bit of a romp. The premise is basically perfect. You play as a titular Kirby who can consume almost anything and anyone and take powers from those that he's consumed, and then take those consumed powers and turn them into neat little allies which a player 2 or a player 3 can jump in and control. You run about engaging in tomfoolery, eating snacks and making out, and one way or another you usually end up fighting some sort of cosmic, universe-threatening abomination, creature from hell that's going to rip the universe apart, and now it's your job to stop them. Then you go home and you eat a big dessert, and that's most Kirby games. Despite how good that all is, I haven't played a Kirby game since, I want to say, like 2019. I think the last Kirby game I played was Kirby's Epic Yarn, and I've given a limp attempt at some of the recent ones. I might have just been picking stinkers out of the pile, but I haven't really been on a Kirby kick. I haven't touched a Kirby game in a while. How long was 2019? That's 7 years ago. That's a long time. So, with this extremely long flight and long ride to the airport, I've been playing Kirby Superstar Ultra again. And it's been a romp, but it's not quite grabbing me in the way that it had me when I was a teenager. My brother and I used to play the absolute balls out of that game, and you know, it's, as I said before, it's good, clean fun. But going back and replaying some of these games, they're fine. Like, I've played enough Gourmet Race for a lifetime. The first DDD campaign's okay. Dynablade's pretty good. The Great Cave Offensive kind of sucked ass. Actually, it sucked so bad I almost dropped the entirety of Kirby Superstar Ultra. I was starting to wonder if I had just outgrown Kirby as a whole. Maybe the novelty of the gimmick had worn off, or maybe you've played one Kirby game, you've played them all, and I was starting to think that it's time to close this pink chapter of my life. And then I got to Meta Knight's Revenge. Oh my god. The game starts immediately with Kirby rushing towards the biggest, most kick-ass flying fortress you've ever seen in your life, the Halberd. You see Meta Knight and his crew scrambling to take off and make sure that Kirby doesn't muck up the Halberd's debut as he crash lands onto the ship and immediately starts throwing hands. You have everything you need to get excited. This campaign's the only one with a timer, and even though getting pinched by the walls is going to kill you more than that timer will, the timer has nothing to do with anything. It's the fact that you're watching it count down and the wind is whooshing in the background, and the team, the squad, the crew is coordinating their rapid counterattack, and you're tearing through this airship. It is so easy to get caught up in the thrill and the excitement of this infiltration mission. You just want to take down the Halberd, man. I'm sure Kirby has a good reason. He doesn't want to see this big piece of metal tearing through his skyline. And I'm in. This is awesome. You make it to the back of the ship by the rocket booster. They drop the coolest lobster-themed mech of your life, and you're locked in. You're beating the brakes off the robot, and they turn on the jet engine and launch that pink little turd directly into the ocean. Now you're tearing through the local wildlife, watching the Halberd cruise through the sky in the background, and at this point, I'm completely absorbed. I want to get back on that damn ship. We're not doing this. Do you know who I am? Talking about Kirby like this is crazy. You tear back into the air on your mighty star, and the ship's ready for action now. They open fire, filling the open air with lead and light, and strike Kirby down again. You don't even know what the hell you're running towards when you crash land for the second time. You just know that whatever's at the end of this area is gonna be a way to get back on that ship. And you clear through another bit of wildlife, and you find Dynablade. Remember that Kirby game I mentioned from before that was actually kind of good? It's good because this bird's design kicks ass. I don't even have to explain this next part. This fucking rocks. Your feathery friend takes a nasty blow, falls to the land below, but it's too late. Kirby's on board, and he's pissed off. I also want to say, before I get too absorbed in this entire experience, that this is also the most intuitive Kirby's absorption ability has felt like ever. You feel like Solid Snake being dropped into a country without a single weapon on you. You need to arm yourself. Snake assassinates a man and snatches his pistol. Kirby stuffs them in his mouth and gets a yo-yo, and he's doing head spins. It's the same deal. And as your snatching powers up and destroying the ship piece by piece, the entire time the crew is in constant conversation with each other. The dialogue on the bottom of your DS screen is so funny. You have Meta Knight, right? Locked in. This is his moment. He's gonna rule Dreamland or whatever the hell. He's gonna rip the hell out of purple graves. Meta Knight is locked in. The captain is seriously trying to get you off his ship, and the rest of the peanut gallery is screaming and crying and freaking the hell out, and watching them all just, you know, haphazardly try to come up with a way to deal with this pink abomination. It's so exciting. The ship, like, there's like these cutscenes that like tag in to give you updates on the ship's status. You know, you're watching it get ripped to shreds. It's lighting on fire. The wings are being, you know, torn off. Like, you're destroying this thing. Before long, the ship has been totaled and it begins to fall into the sea. The last of Meta Knight's crew throws themselves at you, and before long, the only two people left on the ship are you and the Knight. You find him in the helm, and you probably came in with the power you snatched on the way, but there's a sword in the ground. And you pick up that sword, and he flares his cape and leaps upward, and you two throw down. It's perfect. This is cinema. And if that wasn't perfect enough, when you beat him up, Kirby hops on a fucking motorcycle creature and begins to escape off the falling, burning ship, and whoosh, Meta Knight comes back in. He's like, I'm not letting you get away. And now you're burning rubber while fleeing from him as he rains down hell amongst the flames and falling metal until you launch off the ship just in time to watch it collapse into the sea in front of the sunset. And that's Meta Knight's revenge. You could beat it in a single sitting. You could have probably beaten it in the time it took me to tell you about it. But it's perfect. Letting Kirby rampage and have people react to him as the force of nature that he is makes it so easy to get caught up into the whimsy and the experience, no matter what the objective is. It's a good game. All of Superstar Ultra is honestly, it's worth playing, but Meta Knight's Revenge is a diamond in a heap of rare stones. So that's Rent Free. Thank you for joining me. I really fuck with Kirby, guys. All right.